Such an accomplishment. Amazing. Let's have director Ethan Hickey and a whole bunch of the cast up. Come on up, guys. So we have Tim Dallor-Coltman's coming up. And we've got Brenna Coates. Come on up. And Eric Fleissing, and we've got Jesse Gervasi, I should say, and of course the DOP or cinematographer, Jason Bergen. Come on up, guys. Oh, no. Have a seat. Wait. We're going to play musical chairs. There you go. Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing job, right? Yeah. Oh, it's an incredible feat to put together a feature-length film. And so this is your first feature, and you wrote it and directed it, and the casting, these were fantastic performances. Congratulations, you got really authentic, wonderful, right off the top, that powerful first scene into the next scene. Excellent, thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, so tell me a bit about the casting of this, because I do want to hear how you came up with this fantastic cast.
So we did some short films prior to this. They're proof of concepts, and so that's where I met the lovely Eric Fleissing, who plays Jackson Arnold, and yeah. So he came onto the feature, which was pretty awesome. We didn't even bother trying to cast someone else for his role, because I was always a big fan of his work. And then from there, everyone else here just knocked it out of the park with their auditions. And
nice.
Just smile on my face the entire time as a 19-year-old, just seeing these three specifically.
I'll bet. How did you guys feel? A 21-day shoot. You had really great relationships on screen. How long did it take that to gel? How long until you felt those relationships and really were able to flow with it?
I'm going to let the lead start. Tim Dallor-Coltman. Oh, everybody has your... No, you didn't have a microphone.
I don't think it took long at all. I think he assembled an incredible team, and I think, honestly, the best part about all of us was that we were all really, really easygoing, and no one had a huge ego, and so there was just a family unit from the very beginning. And I know that Ethan, as well, was an incredible leader, which is a huge deal coming from first feature. You don't usually see someone who has that much. Yep. Yeah.
Tell me, Ethan, when you tell me the beginning of this story. Why was it this story that you needed to make?
It started with the car crash. I wrote a script when I was younger that I was really curious. We always see it from the victim's standpoint, and so I was just more curious about it. Everything happens for a reason, and so if anybody ever gets in an argument, I'm always like, I want to hear both sides of the argument, and so that's where my fascination really came with this. And if there's a car crash, I'm really fascinated at both sides of it. What life events led to this moment for those people, and from there I just included a lot of my life events into this. There's a lot of me in this. Also a lot of London in this. This is about as London of a film as you guys are going to get. And yeah. Didn't shy away from it at all. A lot of other films would change everything, but I really embraced it. And London Majors, I'm a big Majors fan, always have been. And the running around the bases thing that you see in the film, that's something I did growing up, where I would try to win those races. And then I started to get too old, and I was like, I don't think I should do it anymore, so I put it in a movie. So
That's so much fun. Jesse, I want to ask you, is this your first film? Or have you done other stuff?
No, I actually did like 3 other films. I did.
Look at that.
He's on Netflix, by the way.
I did a movie called Ivy and Bean, The Night Before Christmas, and Christmas Chronicles.
Awesome. Well, you did a great job on this one too.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. I want to hear from the DOP down there. Yes, cinematographer.
Hello.
Jason. Jason, tell me, your shots were beautiful. Was there's something in particular that you kept in mind as far as how you could further the story with those shots?
I guess it's like as a DP, you always want to make everything look as nice as you can, but I hope that wasn't it definitely wasn't my goal for everything, but I think if I had a goal for it to keep story-oriented and not focus too much on shots, and I guess that can be like interpreted different ways, so hopefully that's how most people take it. They're not drawn towards the shots just for the sake of the shot looking nice, but when I watch it, I don't think like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, or that draws too much attention. So I think it's just listening to the story, reading the script, and then trying to just base the shots on. I feel like I'm talking myself into a circle here. I think I said
They're beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Really great shots. Really great shots. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the audience now. Can you guys turn the house lights up just a bit? And I want to see if there's any questions out there. It's a wonderfully complex story, and there's a lot that I want to ask about the story, but I want you guys to have a chance to ask it first. Is any brave soul going to put up their hand? Nope. Oh, yep, right there.
I'm just curious on what's your favorite scene that you filmed?
The favorite scene for each of these actors.
Mine is the bicycle scene right at the end. Maybe it's because I'm a little egotistical, but it's the one scene that was improvised. So I was like, had to keep that scene in. I was very lucky with how it turned out. I really loved the freedom, and I thought it really completed Jackson's arc, where he finally gets to be free.
Be free and happy again.
And happy. And he gets to give a bicycle. Who doesn't like to give a bicycle?
Totally.
It's like, what a lucky thing to do.
I would say my favorite scene was the car crash scene, specifically because the way that it was scheduled, we were supposed to do it on one night, and due to movie making, it didn't end up happening, so we had to push it to the second night, and then the movie gods were in our favor because we ended up having this amazing fog that just was natural on the highway, and then obviously also having this amazing little boy named Yusuf, who just made, for me, it felt like there was no acting required. It was just so real. Everything felt like it was genuinely affecting me. And so as an actor, I think that was the best moment for me.
I don't know. I feel like, okay, well, first of all, this is Tim's beautiful partner who asked this question. Thanks for letting me kiss your man here. Because I feel like one of my, I know, I love you. I love you, Michaela. No comment. I feel like one of my favorite scenes was when you took me to the school gymnasium and we were redoing our prom. They had been filming for a while. Like, you guys had been filming for a week and a half without me, and then I came, and I was very nervous and intimidated because you guys had your own thing going on, and we started with this, like, dance scene. But it was so fun! So that was my favorite.
That was your first scene your first shot of the film?
It was technically my second scene of the entire production. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And my favorite scene was when we went to that like park and I got to go in the go-karts and I got
East
to
Park.
play baseball.
I don't blame you. That would have been my favorite scene to shoot too. And what about you, Ethan?
Probably every scene, to be honest. Like, just there's like a memory behind every single scene and how it was shot. But the car crash scene, I mean, that was so cool to shoot. We got a really beautiful Chevy Chevelle car. We got a trailer car. So the Chevelle was on this massive trailer that was hitched to a truck that was driven, and we had a city permit. It was just, I think it was our second and third days of shooting, and it was just incredible. It was just, I never thought that would be something that we would do, and production-wise, that was really exciting.
So tell me a little bit about the themes that you were working with. I mean, we could kind of I mean, right away, it's second chances. The whole thing is about second chances, and I think the burden of expectations am I getting that right, or did you, when you thought of the name Burden, what were you thinking?
Yes, it was actually called Wayward for a while in the script phase, but then it turned to Burden as I really understood, I think, what the script was. And I was a big fan of the song Beast of Burden by Rolling Stones at the time, and I think that's where it came from. So I was listening to that song as I was doing rewrites of the story. And yeah, definitely Second Chances is the big one, the big theme. So.
How many rewrites did you do? Did you do page one rewrites, or just tampering with it?
So we shot during full-on lockdown, which was a whole experience in itself. It was full-on, whatever they call it, red lockdown. And so from a COVID standpoint, that was really difficult. But the one thing that we really benefited from was being able, just these guys had so much free time because
You're completely
yeah.
can't go anywhere.
And so I'm really open as a collaborator to changing the script. And so we spent a lot of time workshopping the script together. I would have individual Zoom meetings, and I'd also have group Zoom meetings with the certain storylines going on. And we really, I think we came to set really happy with what we wrote together, and we're really confident in it and happy with it. So.
Which again, if I may, just again, a huge kudos to you, because there are a lot of young filmmakers, writers who can be precious about what they write, and he was the complete opposite. He was so generous with his time, with all of us, making sure that we felt comfortable with what we were saying, with how the scenes were, and if we ever had things that we wanted to adjust, he was open to it from the very get-go.
Thank you, Tim.
So thank you.
You know, it is a great thing to be able to be a collaborative director. That's really, really wonderful. Did you find, Jason, did you find the working on this in COVID times? What were the challenges from a director of photography's perspective in COVID days?
I think the main thing I can remember is just there were certain shots that we had planned on getting or hoping that we could get based off of locations and like extras, the amount of people we could have in the shot. And lots of that changed like days before or sometimes the day of. So we would plan these big shots or scenes, and then it would have to change based off whatever the rules were that week. So it was sometimes like, oh man, well this sucks. But I think, I can't remember specific ones, but I remember afterwards thinking that at least some of them were probably better case. So some happy accidents perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, and Tim, I think you were in Boys versus Girls.
Yeah. Yes, I was, and Michaela too, actually.
Yeah, because you guys had that at our virtual festival, right? That was, right. And so that's a very different thing. So here we are, the world premiere of, and in the real world. How is that for you? Have you done any other films between that one and this one?
Yeah, I've done a few. But I think I'm still living off of the buzz of this film specifically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You're going to be buzzing for a while on this. So what's next for all of you guys? Well, hold on a minute. Before we get to that, I want to see, are there any other questions out there? Is there anybody, okay, I see one. Oh, good. There's a couple of questions. I'm going to go first of all to the gentleman just in the third row down.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you guys have a process in approaching the very emotional scenes as a team, very heavily emotional scenes?
I will. So yeah, I think it's maybe what Tim mentioned before. We did have a lot of rehearsals, and there were Zoom rehearsals, and that doesn't always happen for movies. So that was incredible. And then I don't know, just trust that we would do the work beforehand, right? Mm-hmm. And show up. Ethan was always ready. Ethan was always tunnel vision focused, so we had to be too.
I think it was an interesting mixture of both rehearsing and wanting to keep it fresh the day of. A lot of respect towards each other when you have to get in each other's face. And it all came out of love. But yeah, I think we're all just trying to act our hearts out.
Very good. There was a question right up at the back. Yes, in the middle.
Well, I didn't necessarily decide it, but I definitely agree with how it is, because I feel like the journey that David finds himself in is I think a realization that he can't solve his shame, and he can't solve the guilt that he feels by using this kid or using this woman, and that what he has to do is actually go back to where it all began, which is his family. And I think that the most important piece for me was finding that connection with his brother and his father, and it was something that I myself really connected to. I have some personal relationships in my own life that helped inform sort of where his journey was going. Yeah.
Very nice. Anyone else? Right up at the top, our volunteer.
The significance of the ring, was that in the original writing of the script, where you see the ring at the beginning of hanging off his necklace, and then at the end, he gives it back to his dad, and he kind of bring that whole back around. Was that in the original script, or was that a rewrite?
It's a great question, because that's a really good story, actually. I'm actually wearing the ring on my pinky. So funny story there. So originally in the script, there's engraving on it, and we got it engraved by a jeweler. It's like a $350 ring that I'm wearing right now. So it was really cool. But it says "Till death do us part," and so initially, with it was supposed to be on his hand, as it is mine. It was supposed to be on David's hand, and I was talking to Tim, and I said, "Tim, can I get your ring size?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, okay, I'll go test it." And he tells me he's a 7. And I'm like, "Oh, that's really small. Tim has small hands. He's a tall guy." And I go pick up the ring, and I'm on my way to London to start shooting the next day. And I put it on my own hand. I'm like, "Oh, I'm really excited. I paid for this. Might as well." And it didn't even fit on my wedding ring or wedding finger. And I was like, I have bigger hands than Tim. Like, I just don't believe that. And so we get there, and we're on set the first day. And I say, "All right, Tim, here you go." And he puts it on. It doesn't even fit on his pinky. So we just kind of did an audible of putting it around his neck, and I gave him my gold chain that I have, and I said, "Here you go." And we put it on, and thank goodness for it, because visually, it's on the poster, it's everywhere, and Tim really did a good job of specific scenes having it out, and specific scenes not having it out, which was really great. And just imagine if it was on the hand, I would have to do an insert close-up every time that I wanted to represent it. So now it's just there in plain sight. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's a great example of problem solving and fortune smiling on you. The solution turned out to be the better one all along. Yes, right. 4th row down.
So I had a kernel when I was 16 where I had the car crash in a different script, and that was the first feature that I wrote. It was called Becoming Men. And then over time, it just kind of morphed into a different story, and it's now where it is today. And there's the famous saying of you make a movie 3 times, once in the screenplay, once while filming, and once in the edit. And that really happened with this. We cut scenes that we shot, and that's not something you do commonly in an indie film like this, because you can't afford to do that. But we did cut scenes because we felt that the story wasn't working with that scene in it. So, good question.
Very good. Any other questions? Oh, yes, right there in the middle. The most difficult part of the filmmaking process. Go for it, Ethan.
Oh, well, someone else give an answer first. Someone's...
Probably the car crash was quite the burden. Haha. Like Tim said, it was supposed to be 1 day, then we ended up staying 2 days, which was nice. At 2 a.m, a big guy came out of his house, and I was like, "Why are you guys out here? I'm trying to sleep." So I was like, "Oh, well, this film's done," but somehow we kept going. And yeah, it was quite the experience, because when you're shooting a night scene, your worst enemy is the sun, and then on the first night...
Every day. The sun rose.
Yeah, the sun rose. It does it every day for some reason. So we came very close to making that day, But at the end, when Ethan saw the sun started to go up, he was like cursing it, like it was the sun god. So I think that was a difficult day.
So day 2, Eric and I are playing basketball, trying to get to know each other, and I trip and I fall.
Trying to get to know each other.
This isn't filming,
I
by
will
the way.
let you guys know, before we even started shooting, we all arrived in London. I had never met them in person, only virtually. And these two show up like they are best friends, laughing, having inside jokes already before even first day of shoot.
It's called acting.
I was so jealous.
Brothers.
So we're playing basketball, and I ended up tripping, and I actually fractured my elbow. Day 2. So that was kind of difficult, nursing a fractured elbow for the entire shoot.
And you didn't tell me,
That's a good
really, for like a couple
challenge.
days.
Yeah, I
But I think for me, the most difficult would be the opening fight scene. That was a 4-minute oneer with fight choreography. And so we spent a full day on the weekend, like on a day off. We brought the 4 actors in. Only one of them's here. Parker, where are you? Where are you, brother?
Well done, well
Parker
done.
played young David. and
Very
killed it.
nice.
And we brought a fight choreographer in, and we spent the day practicing that and getting the camera movements down. And I think we did 16 takes or something of that, and it was handheld. And Jason's also the cam op, and it's a heavy camera. It's like 30 pounds. So imagine doing that 16 times. Between each take, he'd be stretching his back out and whatnot. It was, yeah, but
That's intense.
it really turned out, I think. I'm a big fan of that shot. Really proud
I'm
of
a
it.
huge fan of that shot. That's really an intense way to start a film and just bam, right into it. It was very, very good. What about you, Jason? Was that the one? Did he nail it?
Yeah, that was it was definitely difficult, and I just, when I think back on it though, I don't think of it as being the hardest thing. I feel like it went pretty well. Like it wasn't like we were running into lots of issues, and it probably was because of all the rehearsals, and we had people run through it with the actors, like the stunts. So it's like everything was smooth on the day when we actually shot it, and I think without that, that would have probably been like something I always think back on, like, oh, that was a nightmare, but it was pretty good. It worked out very well.
Yeah. No, it really, really worked well. So, Jason, while you've got it in your hand, what's next for you?
I don't know what I can all say, but I am talking to Ethan about some stuff, so I don't know.
Okay, well, then we'll go to Ethan, and then we'll come back to the actors. What's next for you, Ethan?
Well, first off, so Eric wrote his own feature and produced it and starred in it. And he called Jason and I up to come back and direct and DP it. So we spent the month of August in Toronto shooting that movie. Tim came back, played a little funny role. It was great. And what a great experience that was, and what an honor to be able for that to be Jason and I's sophomore features together, I guess.
Fantastic.
Oh, older every day, coming June 2023, probably.
And to the 2023 Forest City Film Festival, apparently.
Yeah, let us in.
But yeah, it's going to be a busy couple months. As you know, we're at the project pitch for Falsehood, which is what I plan to be the next one that I do. And I'm hopeful that a lot of people here are a part of that.
Project Pitch, for those of you who don't know, is Sunday the 23rd at RBC Place for the OSCC, part of the Forest City Film Festival. We give away a $60,000 prize to the winning pitch, and Ethan is pitching. All right, so let's hear I want to start with you. What is next for you? Have you got something in the works?
Not really.
Auditions and school.
Oh yeah, hockey.
Hockey. Not baseball? What? Not baseball?
I played baseball at school with my friends with a water bottle.
And what about you, Tim?
I'm actually going to be shooting 11 Days with Sofia Coppola on an A24 movie.
What?
Didn't know that.
That's amazing. Wow. That's very big time. What about you, Brenna?
I just finished I filmed a movie in Sudbury that is going to come out at the end of this year. It's with Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase, and it's going to be on Hulu or Crave, and I am so cruel in this movie, and so that's fun.
Very different character than this
Yeah.
one. That's really fun. That's great. Eric?
I already got it. Well, my own project, Older Every Day, with these two you already mentioned, is what I have up next. And it's currently be editing.
Yeah,
Ethan's
I am editing it as well,
right
so he's
now.
waiting on the edit.
As we speak,
In
he's
editing.
editing it.
That's a big job. Well, thank you. Another round of applause for these guys. Massive undertaking. What? I know. That's amazing. All right, so now we've got the Auburn Filmmaker Lounge out there. If you guys want to chat with these guys a bit more, we invite you out to the Auburn Filmmaker Lounge. I want to remind you that both of the films that you saw this evening qualify for the Old Oak Audience Choice Award. So you'll get a chance through your email with your ticket to vote. Remember to vote and get one of these films, maybe will be your favorite, and vote for them in the Old Oak Audience Choice Award. And thank you guys, congratulations again. I am so proud to have had this film here.